Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Yes? I think I can see some of you in the back. Are you there? Hi. Okay, good. Well, it's three of us presenting today, and I'm going to kick off by showing you what we think is the research report of the future. And that's what this is. You'll get to know about what we mean by that in a while. But what's important to know for now is that this is what we think it could be, not necessarily what it should be, because we want to move away from dictated solutions and more into finding new ways of collaborating. And as a group, I am an innovator, I'm a creative, and I work together with Timon, where we are both associate partners to an agency called Transactive. And I am here together with Peter, who comes from Belgacom, and who will tell you how he has experienced our collaboration as well. But initially, together with Timon and the team, we were thinking, are we the only ones who feel that there is this huge gap when it comes to implementing the findings of research? Because it seems that research and strategy get along quite well. You know, they're on speaking terms at least. It doesn't mean that they're having a good conversation, but at least they're on speaking terms. When it comes to the more creative, design, whimsical people that have to make business happen, that have to deliver on business growth as our marketeers, as our creative agencies, there seems to be no communication at all. So we started looking inside our client teams at what was happening and actually going into it inquisitively, curiously, to find out what is really happening there. And what we saw is that the disconnect was almost at a language level, yeah? So when the researchers were presenting tables and numbers and findings and even trying to make it interesting and appealing and pointing out at the details, people were looking at them going like, well, what does this have to do with me, and why is it that I don't understand what I've got to do with it, how I'm going to apply this into my everyday job? We feel that research is too important to what business is about, that it should not only inform the decisions towards strategy, but it should also involve those people who have to create the business, those stakeholders that are in marketing, that are in the creative side of making the business happen, that are even in sales, into asking the questions up front as well, the things that they would need to learn in order to be able to make business happen. And in turn, research should be at the table when things are happening, not to ask the researcher, do you think this is right? But to ask the researcher, in which direction do you think we should be going, and start manifesting what research could be about, not necessarily what it should be about. Now, we use two tools, because I'm not going to have a philosophical discussion here about what's happening, but rather how we did it. And we use two tools to engage at an interdisciplinary level. The first one of them is context. Having a data point that no one understands where it's coming from or what to do with it doesn't really make much sense to a lot of people. They don't know how that could lead them into action. So how do you build context in? And the second is designing strategically. That means applying research learnings to what could be. Not one solution, not one answer, but several of those to start to get a feel of what it could all be about. Timon, over to you.
Carola, thank you. Good morning, everybody. I'll briefly explain what context means in strategic design. Creating context, what do we mean? Most researchers are, what we say, are looking through microscopes. And it's microscopic, micro research, and it's very good, it's very useful. But if you give that to a designer or a decision maker or somebody who has to create an innovation, it is not enough. And the way we create research is by taking a helicopter vision, or in this case, as you see here, a jetpack vision. And in this helicopter jetpack vision, we look at society as a whole. We look at the behavior of people that is changing. And this is what we call trends, behavior that's changing, socio-cultural trends. And if you put the research into a socio-cultural trend perspective, you give extra tools to the designer, to the innovator, to the marketeer, to the decision maker. So that's tool one. Tool number two is a strategic design. Carola showed you this picture before, and you might think, oh, well, that's nice, it's a pretty looking package. Well, it is a pretty looking package, that's true, but it's also a research report. And why? Because everything in this design is based on research. So we can explain everything we have created here visually by using the data from the research report. And this is actually a design we have used for Coca-Cola. Minute Maid is a Coca-Cola brand. And a few years ago we did this big project for them, and we presented in London to the directors. So these were 50-year-old guys, and we presented all the data, the reports, we presented all the social cultural trends, and the directors there were nodding and okay, yes, interesting, interesting. And then we had a bag full of mock-ups of the designs. So we said, and here's the visualization of the research. We took out the mock-ups and passed them around. And suddenly these old directors turned into little children because they saw their own brands, like Minute Maid, and they saw the future. They saw the research we just discussed with them. They saw it in practice. Now, this is not a final design. This is a visualization of what the research could mean for the company. And it strikes an emotional chord if you actually see your own brand like this. And this was something we could discuss on, and this was something to base decisions on. And this actually works very well. We have been using this for 7 years already, creating context, strategic designs. And we have many happy clients with all kinds of different questions. And we brought one of our happiest clients along, and that's Peter. And of course, I could explain a lot more, but it's best to have the client tell you that. Peter.
Hi, I'm Peter, and I work at Belgacom in Belgium, which is the capital of Brussels. It's the country below this one. And Belgacom is a telecom company. We were the incumbent. You have to know two things about us. One is we were the incumbent telco operator in Belgium. We sell digital TV, internet, and cell phone, GSM. But we sell it over copper wires. The competition sells it over cable, and that's the good stuff. They have the good stuff, they have the ATAG of telecommunications. So we have a difficult time. The competition is fierce. We hate them, they hate us. Not for real, we like each other, but still, the competition is very, 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 very fierce. So we need to do, and that's the second thing you have to know about us, we need to do a lot of market research, because in a commoditizing market, we need to find where we can differentiate us from the others. We do super much market research. The three guys presenting here before us were from Insights Consulting. They have a beautiful building in Ghent, where I live. I like to think that at least one floor of that building is paid for by Belgacom. And I like to think it's a penthouse. But we do a lot of market research with a lot of people, and I can joke about it, but the thing is that because we do a lot of market research because we believe in it. We think it is important, but we had a problem. We do all this market research, and I worked in a market research team at Belgacom, and we deliver this to the marketeers or to the IT guys, and we hand it over, and they make a nice product based upon our insights, and we're not involved in that. And then they launch the products, and then we cry in our beds when we see the product that has been launched, because we say, didn't you see our research? How is it possible that you came with this end result? What happened? And a year later, that specific product, they ask us to do a market research to explain why it didn't work. And we're saying, but we did the market research a year before, and everything was in there. Why didn't you implement it? So we had a problem, and the problem was happening at the handover from the market research. There's this divide where apparently our marketeers, because in our case it's we deliver to the marketeers, they didn't understand what we were saying. And we can't always, we expected too much of them, because they are looking at, they have a lot of objectives, and they are thinking about the tools that they know, and they are trying to make sense of the world and of the things that we deliver them by what they know already. And that was a problem, and it was not good. So we solved it through the two tools that Transactive just showed you. And the first one was context. I'll give you an example. Like 5 years ago, apps and smartphones were very hip. So maybe that's like 6 years ago, but only 5 years ago in Belgium. We're a bit late. And we, as an operator, we had something like, we need to have an app too. We need to have our brand present on these smartphones. On previous phones, you had our brand very prominently on the screen, but on the smartphones, it was Facebook and other stuff. We also need an app. So we did market research. What are people doing with these smartphones so that we can create an app with it? And if we would have done bad market research, we would have had a list. They make photographs and they do that kind of stuff, and maybe we would have tried to make an app that makes photographs to have an app on there. But we did good market research, and we saw an insight that was actually people use these mobile phones, but they have a problem. They are afraid of the price of the data that they're using. And we gave this insight to marketing, and marketing said, we know this problem. They're afraid of the bill shock of using mobile data and these apps. We can solve that. What we do is we create new data plans. We did that with voice. And we recreate bonuses and special systems. But what they didn't see was a context. And the context was that consumers want simplicity. That they want to be in control, that they don't trust us when we tell them about prices and that they're going to have an advantage. So with the context, with the market research and together with the context, we saw we need to create an app that shows you real time what consumption you have and what your usage is without you having to log in, very simple. And thanks to the context together with the market research, we were first in market with such an app in our market. But creating context is not enough. We need to do more. I'm going to advance the slide. Transactive looked at all our market research, and they created these strategic designs for us. And I heard a lot of talk about emotions this morning. And about how we need to approach that emotions are the most important thing for our consumers, and we have to approach them more in that way. Well, actually, the marketeers and the IT guys in our company, these are our consumers, and we need to do the same thing. If we just throw the market research at them, they're not emotionally involved, and we need to show them something that a vision of what could be, of how this could be interpreted, and what could happen. I'm going to give the example of TV. Like 5 years ago also, I'm just inventing this number, it was some time ago, we were thinking about how does TV have to evolve? What's the next thing that we're gonna put on our TV to attract customers? And we were explaining to our marketeers, you need to make something that makes it more simple, that it makes it that they can choose when to watch TV, the consumers. They want to be able to approach the TV from different devices. And the marketer said, yes, we understand, and we will brief the IT guys. And they briefed the IT guys, and what they were actually developing was a software to put on your laptop to connect to the TV. And okay, they were correct. That's what we briefed them on. But that's not what we wanted. And we said, no, that's not what we mean. But we were speaking different languages. And Transactive created for us some mock-ups of what this application could look like. They showed us, it has to be on your website, and showed us print screens of what our website could look like with this app. It has to be on tablets, it has to be on smartphones. And it created a whole range of stuff that made the marketeers, the decision makers, everybody on the other side of the divide see what it could be. And we created that. And it was glorious. And I'm going to give one more example. A second example of why these strategic designs are important is we were in a market. The second thing that it can help with is to break silos. We told our marketeers, our customers want more simplicity in our offers. It's too complicated that you have to pay internet twice. You have to pay it for at home, and you have to pay it for on your mobile. And they are worried about it. And again, in their silos, they were creating a solution where they said, okay, for home we will make it unlimited, so they don't have to worry about it anymore. But what they didn't see was that actually you have to merge the two together. And they only saw it when Transactive came with they showed us campaigns of how communication could look like if we could have one pack where you pay internet once, and it is for all your devices. It is your mobile data, it's your home, it's everything all at once. And only when they saw these visualizations, this how we could communicate this to the market, what this would look like, that across all the silos within the company, they said, yes, that's the product we have to create. And for us, it was enormously important because in the introduction, I explained to you that we have competition with the cable, who will always be faster than us. And we could turn it around, and we could start communicating it not about speed on the market, but about the fact that with us, you pay only once, and you can have internet everywhere. So to conclude, this context and these visualizations make market research more tangible, more shareable across teams within the company. They make it easier to brief external partners. They make it workable and they lead to results. They make sure that market research is not underused in a company, what happened to us in the past. So if you want to know more, please contact Carola and Timon. We were very happy to work with them, and I hope you will be too.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Peter.